My name is Daniel Chen, and I have a problem. It's not a medical problem. It's not a financial problem. It's worse. It's a friendship problem disguised as a love-life crisis, and it's been festering for approximately 8 months and 17 days. Not that I'm counting. I work as a graphic designer for a mid-size advertising firm in Portland, Oregon. I'm 32 years old, relatively attractive, or so my mother insists, and I have excellent taste in craft beer and terrible taste in women. The terrible taste part is important to this story. My best friend since college is Marcus Webb. We've been through everything together: failed relationships, career disasters, that incident with the karaoke machine in Las Vegas that we agreed never to discuss. Marcus is the kind of friend who will help you move a couch at 2 in the morning without asking questions. He's also the kind of friend whose dating advice I should have ignored approximately 47 times but didn't. This particular Saturday night, we're sitting in my apartment, a studio with exposed brick and pretentious Edison bulbs, drinking beer and arguing about whether the Seahawks have any chance this season. The argument is going nowhere because we both know they don't, but it's a comfortable argument. It's the kind of argument that requires no actual thought. So, Marcus says, settling back into my couch with the confidence of someone who has sat on this exact couch approximately 800 times, I have a favor to ask. This is never good. When Marcus asks for favors, they usually involve A. Me covering for him on a bad date, B. Me attending some social function I would otherwise avoid, C. Me doing something vaguely humiliating. No, I say preemptively. You don't even know what I'm going to ask, Marcus protests. I know the tone of your voice. It's the tone you use when you're about to ask me something I don't want to do. Marcus sets down his beer with deliberate care. My sister is coming to visit. She arrives tomorrow. I need you to help me show her a good time. I process this information slowly, like my brain is moving through molasses. Marcus has a sister. Yes. I know this. We've been friends for 11 years, and I know Marcus has a sister named Sophia. I've heard stories about her. She lives in San Francisco. She's some kind of big shot in the tech industry. She's beautiful. Marcus said this, not me. I don't think about Marcus's sister being beautiful. That would be weird. Why would I need to help show her a good time? I ask carefully. Doesn't she have her own friends? She does, Marcus says, but she's going through a rough breakup. Her ex was a venture capitalist dickhead who thought his money made him interesting. She needs to remember that life is fun, that she's funny, that she's worth more than some asshole who prioritizes his stock portfolio over his girlfriend. This is actually very sweet, in a meddling big brother kind of way. I feel my resistance weakening. I can't be responsible for your sister's emotional recovery, I say, but I'm already losing the argument. You won't be, Marcus says. I will. You're just going to be your normal, charming, witty self. You're going to show her the good restaurants. Maybe take her to that comedy show at the Helium. Just help me remind her that not all men are garbage. Some of us are garbage, I point out. You're not garbage, Marcus says firmly. You're weird, you have oddly specific opinions about typography, and you once cried during a commercial about paper towels, but you're not garbage. That was a moving commercial, I mutter. So is this a yes? I look at Marcus. He's doing the thing where he leans forward slightly and raises his eyebrows in a way that he believes is persuasive but actually just makes him look like he's trying to read something very small. But he's my best friend, and he's asking me to be nice to his sister for a weekend, which is not a large ask. Yes, I hear myself say. But if this goes badly, I'm blaming you. Deal, Marcus says, extending his hand for a shake we've done 1,000 times since we were 21 years old. I don't know it yet, but I've just agreed to the worst decision of my life. Or possibly the best. The jury is still out on that particular detail. Sophia Webb arrives at 2 p.m. on Sunday. Marcus calls me at 1:47 p.m. to inform me that she's landed and is currently in a rideshare heading to my apartment. Not his apartment. Mine. This seems like a detail I should have questioned, but I didn't, because I was apparently not thinking clearly yesterday when I agreed to this entire enterprise. I spend 13 minutes panicking about the state of my apartment. There's a shirt on the back of my chair. There are coffee cups on my desk. There's a questionable stain on the kitchen counter that I cannot identify and therefore cannot address with confidence. I engage in a cleaning frenzy that accomplishes very little except making me sweat through my t-shirt. I change t-shirts. Then I change again because the second t-shirt is the one with the coffee stain from last week. By the time the doorbell rings, I'm wearing my fourth outfit of the day and I'm fairly certain I smell like panic and desperation. I open the door, and my brain stops working. Sophia Webb is not what I expected. I'm not sure what I expected, actually. Maybe something less, everything. Less tall. Less composed. Less like she should be in a commercial for luxury goods. She's wearing black jeans that fit like they were designed specifically for her legs, a cream-colored oversized sweater, and an expression of bemused exhaustion. Her hair is dark and wavy and pulled into a messy bun that somehow looks intentional instead of lazy. She has her brother's dark eyes, but there's something sharper in hers, something that suggests she doesn't suffer fools and has met many. "You must be Daniel," she says, extending her hand. "Marcus's charity case." "I'm not," I start, then catch the hint of a smile at the corner of her mouth. "Okay, yes, I'm the charity case. He asked me to help show you a good time while you're here." "He did?" Sophia steps into my apartment, and I immediately regret not doing more aggressive cleaning. Marcus has terrible judgment in most things, so I'm not sure how encouraging that is for you. He also has terrible judgment in friends, apparently, I say, because he's been friends with me for 11 years. Sophia laughs, actually laughs, and something in my chest does a strange flutter that I immediately suppress because this is my best friend's sister and I am a normal, functioning adult who does not flutter. "So what's the plan?" Sophia asks, setting down her overnight bag and surveying my apartment with the expression of someone inspecting a crime scene. "And please tell me it's not something Marcus came up with, because the last time he planned something, I ended up at a paint and sip with his ex-girlfriend." "That sounds like a Marcus plan," I admit. "But no, I was thinking we could grab dinner at this place called Bing Me. They have incredible Szechuan food. Then maybe the comedy show at Helium, if you're interested. Or we could do something else. I'm flexible." Sophia studies me for a moment, and I have the distinct sensation that she's evaluating me for something, running some kind of compatibility test in her head. "Okay," she says finally. "But I'm picking the restaurant. I've had it with other people's food recommendations. Last time my ex picked a restaurant, I ended up paying $90 for deconstructed fish that looked like it had been attacked by a minimalist." Deconstructed fish, I repeat. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Right? Sophia moves to my window and looks out at the Portland skyline. "Marcus said you were funny." I wasn't sure if he was being generous or if he actually meant it. "I'm moderately funny," I say. "Like a B+ comedian. Decent at parties. Would probably tank at a real comedy club." "That's refreshing," Sophia says, turning back to me. "My ex always told me I was hilarious, then laughed at none of my jokes and frequently told me I didn't understand humor. Turns out what he meant was I didn't understand his particular brand of humorless superiority. Venture capitalist? I guess. Is it that obvious?" "Marcus mentioned something about a stock portfolio," I say carefully. Sophia settles onto my couch with the comfort of someone who is going to be okay eventually, even if she's not okay right now. Here's the thing about high net worth assholes, they're very good at making you feel like their terrible behavior is your fault. Like somehow, if you were prettier or smarter or less opinionated, they would magically transform into decent human beings. That's not how humans work, I offer. Apparently not, Sophia agrees. But anyway. Thank you for helping Marcus rehabilitate my faith in men. I appreciate it, even if this is going to be awkward and potentially disastrous. I should mention at this point that I'm already completely charmed by her. This is bad. This is very bad. This is a problem that is going to expand exponentially over the course of a weekend, and I know this, and I'm already deciding that I don't care. I promise to be at least moderately less disastrous than your ex, I say. That's a low bar, Sophia replies. But I'll take it. The dinner is good. The conversation is better. We end up at a Vietnamese restaurant in downtown Portland because Sophia vetoes my suggestion of Thai food. She's had too much lemongrass in my life, and the restaurant she chooses serves something called charred broccoli with garlic and fish sauce, that shouldn't work but absolutely does. Over pho and spring rolls, Sophia tells me about her job in tech. She's the VP of product development for a company that makes some kind of software infrastructure thing that I don't entirely understand but sounds impressive. She talks about it with genuine enthusiasm, not the kind of corporate enthusiasm that's designed for LinkedIn, but actual passion. The thing about tech is that everyone thinks it's all free-flowing and creative, she explains, gesturing with her chopsticks. But really, it's just as political and territorial as any traditional industry. You just have slightly better snacks and everyone's more casually dressed while they're destroying you. That's a bleak assessment, I say. That's a realistic assessment, Sophia corrects. I say that not as someone who hates her job, but as someone who loves her job and also understands that it's just a job. It's not my identity. It doesn't define my value as a person. That's the thing my ex never understood. He thought if you weren't obsessed with making money, you were somehow failing at life. Did he have other hobbies? I ask. Looking at spreadsheets, Sophia says. And making me feel bad about my career choices while somehow also managing to make everything about him. That's exhausting. You have no idea. Sophia sips her pho. So what about you? Are you obsessed with graphic design, or do you have other dimensions to your personality? I'm moderately obsessed with graphic design, I say. But I also read a lot, I have opinions about music that are probably wrong, and I collect vintage design books. Oh, and I cry at commercials. Marcus mentioned the commercial thing, Sophia says. I thought he was exaggerating. I don't cry at commercials, I clarify. I cry at specific commercials with compelling emotional narratives. There's a difference. Is there though? Sophia asks, and she's smiling in a way that suggests she already knows the answer and finds it charming rather than ridiculous. By the time we get to the comedy show, I've made a decision. I'm going to keep a careful distance from Sophia because she's Marcus's sister and my best friend will murder me if I develop feelings for his sister. This is a solid decision. It's a smart decision. It's a decision that lasts approximately 4 minutes into the comedy show, when Sophia laughs so hard at a joke about dating apps that she has to put her head on my shoulder to contain herself. Maintaining a careful distance becomes significantly harder when a beautiful woman is actively putting her head on your shoulder. The rest of the show passes in a blur of me being hyper-aware of her proximity and trying to act like I'm not hyper-aware of her proximity. It's not successful. I'm pretty sure she notices. I'm also pretty sure she doesn't mind, which is somehow worse. After the show, we walk back toward my apartment through the cool Portland night. The city is quiet at 11 p.m. The streets are mostly empty. Thank you for today, Sophia says as we walk. This was actually really fun. Marcus was right, which is annoying because now I have to text him and tell him he was right. Don't do that, I say. His ego is already insufferable. Fair point. Sophia stops walking for a moment. I should probably tell you something. Marcus didn't exactly put me up to this visit. Well, he did, but it wasn't entirely his idea. I asked him to set something up. I told him I needed to remember how to be around normal, functional people. I process this information. So you manipulated your brother into setting up a setup with me? Would you be angry about that? Sophia asks. I'm still deciding, I say honestly. Okay, so here's the thing, Sophia continues, starting to walk again. My ex made me feel like I was the problem. Like I was too ambitious, too opinionated, too much in general. And I needed to hang out with someone who wouldn't make me feel that way. Marcus said you were the least judgmental person he knew. He said you would let me be myself without trying to fix me or impress me or turn me into something I'm not. Marcus gives you a lot of credit, I say. Yeah, well, so far he's right. Sophia glances at me. So thank you. For today. For being yourself. We reach my apartment building. Sophia has a hotel room nearby, which is good, because if she'd asked to stay at my place, I would have said yes, and that would have been a terrible decision in approximately 17 different ways. You're welcome, I say. What are your plans for tomorrow? I have no plans, Sophia says. That's kind of the point. I'm here to not have plans and to do whatever feels good. There's a subtext to that sentence that I'm trying not to read too much into. I'm failing. Well, I say carefully, if you want company while you're not having plans, I'm available. I'll text you in the morning, Sophia says. After I've had coffee and made sure I'm not making terrible decisions while sleep deprived. She leaves, and I go back to my apartment and do not sleep, because my brain is too busy replaying the moment where her head was on my shoulder and my heart was beating like it was trying to escape from my chest. This is bad. This is very bad. This is a problem that needs to be immediately addressed before it becomes a significantly larger problem. Tomorrow, I'm going to call Marcus and tell him I can't help with his sister. I'm going to explain that there's been a complication. I'm going to be honest. That's the plan. That's the smart decision. Let's see how well it actually works out. It doesn't work out. I wake up the next morning to a text from Sophia, coffee? I know this place in Belmont. I should text back, I can't. Conflict of interest. Please ask your brother to explain. Instead, I text back, what time? This is how bad decisions happen. One text at a time. Belmont District Coffee is the kind of place that looks like it was designed specifically to photograph well on Instagram. Exposed brick, vintage furniture, the kind of coffee that costs more than it should but tastes like someone actually cared about making it. Sophia is already there when I arrive, sitting at a small corner table with 2 cups of coffee and an expression that suggests she's been thinking about something serious. I'm going to tell Marcus, I say, sitting down without preamble. Tell Marcus what? Sophia asks. That I can't do this, I say. That there's a conflict. That I need to be honest about why I agreed to this in the first place. Sophia sets down her coffee cup slowly. Okay, I'm going to save you some time. Marcus already knows. I stare at her. What? He knows I'm interested in you, Sophia clarifies. He's known since the day we came up with the plan for this visit. He thought it would be good for both of us. I need to remember that normal men exist, and you need to remember that you deserve to be interested in someone who's genuinely interested in you. His words, not mine. Marcus is an idiot, I mutter. Marcus is a meddling idiot, Sophia agrees. But he's not wrong about the second part. And I'm going to be honest with you about something, because I think honesty is the thing that's been missing from every relationship I've ever had. I'm interested in you. I was interested in you the moment you opened the door wearing your 4th outfit of the day. You knew? I ask. Of course I knew, Sophia says. I watched you change t-shirts 3 times through your security camera. Yes, I looked at your security camera. I'm in tech. It's like a compulsion. That's violation of privacy, I point out. Extremely, Sophia agrees. But it helped me understand something. You're nervous around me. You care about being appropriate. You're thinking about your best friend instead of thinking about yourself. That's admirable and also kind of infuriating because I'm sitting across from someone I'm actually attracted to, and they're busy worrying about friendship rules instead of just being with me. I take a long sip of coffee because my mouth has suddenly become very dry. Your brother would kill me. My brother likes you more than he likes most people, Sophia says. If he didn't think this was a good idea, he wouldn't have spent the last 6 months telling me detailed stories about your personal life until I agreed to come visit Portland. He what? He's been setting this up for months, Sophia explains. He showed me your Instagram. He told me about the time you cried at that commercial. He made me laugh with stories about your terrible taste in ex-girlfriends. By the time I arrived, I was already invested in seeing if you were as interesting in person as you sounded. So this is all some kind of elaborate setup, I say slowly. This is Marcus trying to fix something he thinks is broken, Sophia says. And me trying to find something real with someone who might actually value me as a person. Those aren't mutually exclusive things. Sophia. Listen, she interrupts, leaning forward slightly. I know this is complicated. I know you're worried about your friendship. But here's what I also know, I'm going to be here for 4 more days. And in those 4 days, I'm hoping to spend time with you because you make me laugh and you don't make me feel like I'm too much. But if that's going to be weird for you, I need to know now, so I can adjust my expectations and maybe spend more time at the Portland Art Museum instead. I look at her across the small table. I think about the last 8 months of my life, which have been comfortable and empty and lacking in any kind of genuine excitement. I think about how it felt when her head was on my shoulder. I think about how every conversation we've had has felt like the most natural thing in the world. It wouldn't be weird for me, I say finally. That's the problem. Sophia smiles. Then it's not a problem. Marcus could murder me. Marcus could try, Sophia says. But I'm bigger than him, I run faster, and I have a tech fortune. I could hire someone to hide him. I'm joking. Sort of. Mostly joking. Those are not reassuring qualifications, I say. I'm not trying to be reassuring, Sophia says. I'm trying to convince you that the only person who gets to decide what happens next is you. So, Daniel Chen, graphic designer and commercial crying enthusiast. What do you want to happen next? I could make the smart choice. I could walk away. I could protect my friendship and maintain the status quo. Instead, I say, I want to take you to dinner tonight. Somewhere nice. And I want to stop pretending that I haven't been thinking about kissing you since approximately 5 minutes after you arrived at my apartment. Sophia's smile widens. That's the smartest thing you've said all morning. I haven't even told Marcus yet. You will, Sophia says with complete confidence. He'll pretend to be angry for about 30 seconds, and then he'll tell you that he was rooting for this the entire time. Marcus's meddling is aggressive, but it comes from a good place. I hope she's right. I'm about to find out. I don't call Marcus. Instead, I take Sophia to dinner. The restaurant is called Canard and it's the kind of place where they take their food seriously. There's a chef's tasting menu. There's wine pairing. There's a parade of small plates that each manage to be both beautiful and delicious. We're on plate 7, some kind of delicate fish dish with microgreens, when Sophia leans forward conspiratorially. Can I tell you something kind of inappropriate? She asks. I think we've moved past the point where either of us is worried about appropriate, I say. I have a specific request, Sophia says. And I'm warning you in advance that it's going to sound weird, but I have my reasons. I'm listening. I want you to eat more pineapple, she says. I stare at her. That's an odd dietary recommendation. Sophia laughs, actually laughs, at the confusion on my face. Okay, so, my ex used to go on these health kicks where he'd impose them on everyone around him. No dairy, no gluten, no sugar, no fun. And he said the reason he didn't want me eating certain foods was because they affected how I tasted, and he wanted me to taste a specific way for him, and it was super creepy in retrospect. That's very creepy, I agree. What does this have to do with pineapple? I want to reverse it, Sophia explains. I want to ask you to do something for yourself, not for me. I want you to eat more pineapple because you like it. And then I want to kiss you and taste the pineapple and have it be about what I want, not what someone's trying to control me into wanting. I set down my fork very carefully. That might be the most romantic thing anyone has ever said while also being kind of cryptic. I'm in tech, Sophia says. We're naturally weird. So? Are you going to eat more pineapple? I'll eat whatever you want me to eat, I say, then immediately regret how that sounds. Sophia is amused by my regret. That's also romantic, in a different kind of way. The dinner continues. We talk about our families. Sophia tells me about growing up with Marcus, about the time he got stuck in a dryer and she had to rescue him. I tell her about my parents meeting in a bookstore and how it shaped my belief that good stories happen in unexpected places. By the time we leave the restaurant, it's late enough that the Portland streets are quiet and the air is cool. Sophia suggests a walk, and we find ourselves in Chapman Park, on a bench overlooking the city lights. I want to be honest with you about something, Sophia says, and my stomach immediately tightens because nothing good follows that phrase. Okay, I say carefully. I'm leaving Portland on Friday, she says. My company is sending me to New York for a conference, and then I have to get back to San Francisco. This isn't a permanent relocation for me. I don't want you to think that I'm here planning a future with you. I process this. Are you saying you don't want to see where this goes? I'm saying I want to be realistic about what I'm available for right now, Sophia corrects. I don't know if I'm ready for anything serious. I just got out of a relationship that destroyed my confidence. But I also know that what I feel when I'm around you is real, and I think it would be a shame to ignore it just because I'm scared of the logistics. What are you proposing? I ask. 3 days, Sophia says. Be present for 3 days. No planning. No worrying about what comes next. Just be here, with me, and see what happens. And then we'll figure out the rest. That's not a lot of time, I say. No, Sophia agrees. But it's honest. And I'm really tired of things that aren't honest. I lean over and kiss her. It's not spectacular. It's not the kind of kiss that should be in movies. It's gentle and a little tentative and it tastes vaguely of the wine we had at dinner. It's also the best kiss I've had in approximately 4 years. When we pull apart, Sophia smiles. You didn't eat any pineapple yet. There's still time, I say. Yes, there is. Marcus finds out on Wednesday. He calls me at 9 in the morning, his voice very carefully controlled in a way that suggests he's angry but trying not to be. So, he says, I'm hearing from Sophia that you two have become very close. I can explain, I start. Actually, no need, Marcus interrupts. She already explained. She said she essentially forced the situation, you were appropriately concerned about the friendship, and at some point you stopped being concerned and started being interested. Those are accurate facts. Yes, I admit. Marcus is quiet for a long moment. I'm going to be honest with you, which means I have to tell you something that's going to make you very uncomfortable. Great, I mutter. I knew this was going to happen, Marcus says. I didn't orchestrate it exactly, but I set up the conditions for it to happen. I watched you be single and miserable for 4 years. I watched my sister be in a relationship with someone who treated her like she was a problem to be solved. And I thought, maybe if they met, they would actually help each other. So you're saying you wanted this to happen, I clarify. I'm saying I wouldn't have been surprised if it happened, and I wouldn't have been upset, Marcus says. Here's the thing about you, Dan. You're a good guy. You're loyal and weird, and you have opinions about font choices that nobody asked for. And my sister is brilliant and funny, and she spent so long being told she's too much that she doesn't know how much is enough. You balance each other. She's leaving on Friday, I say. I know, Marcus says. She told me. Did she tell you that she's considering transferring to the Portland office? That she's been thinking about leaving San Francisco for almost a year? I sit up very straight. No. Because she doesn't want to make that decision for a man, Marcus explains. She wants to make it for herself. But if you're also in Portland, and you two figure out that you actually work together, that becomes a factor. So you need to be aware that's a possibility. What are you actually saying? I ask. I'm saying my sister is worth the risk, Marcus says bluntly. And if you think she is too, then you should tell her. And if you think she's not, then you should tell her that as well. Just don't tell her something in the middle that's designed to protect yourself. She's had enough of that. After I hang up, I sit on my couch and have a minor existential crisis. That evening, Sophia and I are at my apartment, and she's showing me photos from her San Francisco apartment, a sleek, modern loft with floor-to-ceiling windows and the kind of design that suggests she cares about aesthetics. We're on my couch, her head on my shoulder, which has become my new favorite thing, when I ask her about the Portland office. How did you know? She asks, not looking at me. Marcus mentioned it, I say. He said you've been thinking about transferring. Sophia sits up, putting space between us. Of course he did. He can't help himself with the meddling. Is it true? It's complicated, Sophia says. I've been unhappy in San Francisco for a while. The work is good, but the city doesn't feel like home. Portland feels like home. I drove around yesterday and I could actually imagine living here. Because of me? I ask carefully. Because of me, Sophia corrects. You're a factor. You might be a big factor. But the decision to move would be about me needing to change my life, not about following a man across the country. I'm not trying to be that man, I say. I'm trying to figure out if we have something real or if this is just the excitement of something new and temporary. Sophia stands up and walks to my window, looking out at the Portland skyline. Here's what I know, I've never felt about anyone the way I feel about you, this fast. It's terrifying. It's making me want to do things that don't make sense. It's making me question every safe, practical decision I've made. That doesn't sound good, I say. It feels good, Sophia says. It feels like someone finally sees me. Like someone finally wants me to be exactly who I am instead of a modified version of myself. But I'm also aware that this feeling is partly because we're in a bubble. We've known each other for 3 days. The real test would be 3 months or 3 years. So what do you want to do? I ask. Sophia turns back to me. I want to try the transfer. I want to move to Portland. I want to see if this is real or if we're just having a really intense weekend that would fall apart in the light of actual daily life. That's a big decision based on 3 days, I point out. It's a decision based on needing a change and having a reason to make that change, Sophia corrects. The change is for me. You're just the bonus. I think I got called a bonus, I say. You did, Sophia confirms. And it's supposed to be complimentary. I stand up and take her hand. Okay, then. Let's try this. 3 months. We see how we work in regular life, not in the bubble of a weekend visit. And then we decide if this is something we want to keep going. 3 months, Sophia repeats, tightening her grip on my hand. I can work with that. The transfer goes through in 7 weeks. Sophia's company negotiates with her current employer, and she moves to the Portland office in early September. She finds an apartment in the Pearl District, nothing as dramatic as her San Francisco loft, but thoughtfully designed and genuinely hers. The first week she's living in Portland, we have approximately 17, oh God, is this actually working, moments. There's the incident where I spend too long looking at my phone and Sophia thinks I'm ignoring her. I was actually texting Marcus about a work project, which is somehow both worse and better. There's the day where she suggests moving in together at month 2 and I panic because that feels too fast. It was. Month 4 is a better timeline. But there's also the morning she makes me breakfast and we eat at her kitchen counter and it's so comfortable that neither of us is thinking about it. There's the night we get drunk at a dive bar and she beats me at darts and we laugh like we're 21. There's the moment where she meets my parents and my mother immediately loves her, and I can see the relief in Sophia's face because she's been terrified that my family wouldn't accept her. By month 3, we've stopped waiting for the other shoe to drop. By month 4, Sophia is helping me redesign my apartment. By month 5, she's leaving things at my place, a toothbrush, some work files, that sweater she always reaches for. On the 6-month anniversary of when we met, Marcus invites us both to dinner at his place. I'm nervous because I haven't told him that Sophia and I are serious, that we're talking about the future in concrete terms instead of hypothetical terms. I think he already knows, but I want to tell him myself. We arrive at his apartment to find him cooking, which is immediately suspicious because Marcus can barely make toast. Sophia laughs and pushes him out of the way, taking over the kitchen with the confidence of someone who cooks regularly. I sit on the counter and watch my best friend and my girlfriend work together, and I think about how much my life has changed in 6 months. So, Marcus says, looking at us with barely concealed satisfaction, are you going to tell me that my meddling worked out perfectly, or are you going to be stubborn about it? Your meddling worked out despite itself, Sophia says, tasting the sauce. This needs more garlic, by the way. It always needs more garlic, Marcus says. So? Are we doing the big announcement or is this still a secret? I look at Sophia. She nods. I reach into my pocket and pull out the ring, a simple, elegant sapphire set in white gold that I found with help from Marcus, who, it turns out, has better taste in jewelry than I do. I'm proposing, I say to no one in particular. I'm doing this now. I didn't plan it for now, but now feels right. Sophia turns to face me, and she's laughing, which is possibly not the reaction I was going for, but it's genuine, so I'll take it. You're proposing? She asks. Right here? In Marcus's kitchen? I'm proposing, I confirm. I know it's fast. I know we've only known each other for 6 months. But I also know that you make me want to be better, that you laugh at my jokes, that you don't make me feel like I have to be something I'm not. I know that 3 days of being here with you wasn't enough and 3 months wasn't enough and I don't think 3 years would be enough, but I want to try. Sophia is quiet for a moment. Marcus is pretending to be very interested in something on the stove. You didn't eat the pineapple, Sophia says finally. I'll eat the pineapple, I promise. If you say yes. I'm going to say yes, Sophia says. But I'm also going to say that this is the most chaotic proposal I've ever heard, and the only reason it's working is because you're genuinely sincere and I'm genuinely in love with you and your best friend is standing behind you trying not to cry. I turn around. Marcus is, in fact, trying very hard not to cry. I'm so happy right now, Marcus says. I orchestrated this entire situation and I take full credit for this engagement. You absolutely do not, Sophia says, but she's smiling, and she's showing the ring to Marcus, and everything is exactly the way it should be. The wedding is small but not insignificant. 65 people in a garden venue in Portland. The weather cooperates by being perfect, clear skies, warm breeze, the kind of September day that makes you believe in the goodness of the universe. Sophia wears a dress that's simple and elegant and doesn't look like she's trying too hard, which I've learned is her signature aesthetic. I wear a suit that Sophia picked out because my taste in formal wear is apparently aggressively mediocre. My vows are traditional. I talk about how I didn't expect to find my person at 32, how I didn't think lightning could strike in a graphic design studio apartment. I talk about how she makes me braver and smarter and happier. Marcus, who is my best man, tries not to interrupt with comments about how he predicted all of this. Sophia's vows are not traditional. She talks about the pineapple conversation, about how it took a weird tech startup person and a guy who cries at commercials to figure out what actual respect looked like. She talks about how the best revenge against her ex isn't success or happiness individually, but finding someone who genuinely wants to celebrate both. I didn't come to Portland expecting to find my person, Sophia says, looking directly at me. I came because my family was meddling and I needed to remember that normal, functional people existed. What I found was someone who's willing to be weird with me, who laughs at my terrible jokes, who bought an engagement ring without consulting a single website about diamond quality because he just knew it felt right. The reception is a casual affair. There's food and drink, dancing that's more enthusiastic than coordinated, and a speech from Marcus that includes approximately 5 stories about how he knew we were perfect for each other from the moment Sophia walked into my apartment. I should clarify, Marcus says, addressing the crowd, that I didn't just magically know. I spent 6 months telling Sophia stories about Daniel. And I spent a similar amount of time telling Daniel that his life wasn't complete. I was essentially a rom-com protagonist before they'd met. And I regret absolutely nothing. Around midnight, Sophia and I step away from the celebration to stand on the garden's patio, looking out at the Portland lights. We're still wearing our wedding attire, still high on the adrenaline of the day. I can't quite believe this is real, that we're actually married. I have something for you, Sophia says, and she reaches into her dress pocket. Yes, apparently her dress had pockets, which is one of the things I love about her, her attention to practical details, and pulls out a small wooden box. Is this, I start. Pineapple, Sophia says. Candied pineapple. From this fancy candy shop in San Francisco that makes them by hand. I brought them across the country and didn't tell you because I wanted to have them for tonight. I open the box. Inside are approximately 20 pieces of candied pineapple, each one perfectly preserved and glistening. You brought pineapple to our wedding, I say. I brought pineapple to our wedding, Sophia confirms. Because you promised you'd eat more of it, and I want to make sure you follow through on your promises. I take one of the pieces and eat it. It's sweet and tangy and exactly right. I kiss Sophia, tasting the pineapple on her lips, and I think about how the best relationships aren't the ones that are planned. They're the ones that happen when you're not paying attention, when you're trying to be a good friend and you accidentally become something more. I love you, I say. I know you do, Sophia says. You married me in front of 65 people and a bunch of string lights. It's pretty obvious. Did you love me at first sight? I ask. Absolutely not, Sophia says. I thought you were weird and kind of awkward and aggressively thoughtful about things that didn't matter. But I loved you by day 2, and I've been in love with you ever since. Which is inconvenient and also perfect. Marcus finds us on the patio later, when the party is winding down. He's had several drinks and is reaching the point where emotions are leaking out. I'm so proud of both of you, he says, pulling us both into an awkward 3-person hug. I'm also mostly proud of myself for knowing you two would work. But you two are growing a distant second. We appreciate your humility, Sophia says dryly. My humility is a gift, Marcus agrees. Like an actual gift. It's free. I'm giving it to you. We spend the night in a hotel that's aggressively nice, because Sophia insisted, because she believes that beginning of marriage moments deserve nice hotels. We order room service at 2 a.m. and watch a terrible movie and fall asleep tangled together in a bed that's too large for actual sleeping but perfect for other purposes. In the morning, I watch Sophia sleep for a moment before she wakes up. Her hair is completely disheveled. Her makeup from yesterday is smudged. She looks nothing like the polished woman who walked into my apartment 8 months ago. She looks exactly like my wife, which is somehow both more and less impressive. Stop looking at me like that, she says, not opening her eyes. I'm gross. I need coffee. You look perfect, I say. That's because you're in love with me, Sophia says, finally opening her eyes. It's a clinical condition. You should see a therapist about it. I'm not going to see a therapist about being in love with my wife, I say. That's not how that works. Sophia sits up and kisses me, and I think about the fact that I met this person 8 months ago. I think about how she came to Portland broken and I was comfortably broken and together we made something whole. I think about the pineapple conversation and the 3-day deal and the moment she asked me to be honest about what I wanted. I got what I wanted. More than that, I got what I didn't know I needed, someone who would see me clearly and love me anyway. Someone who would call me out when I was being ridiculous. Someone who would trust me enough to be vulnerable with me. What are you thinking about? Sophia asks. That I'm the luckiest guy alive, I say. You're thinking about pineapple, Sophia corrects. I can tell by the expression on your face. I'm thinking about a lot of things, I say. But you're right, pineapple is in there somewhere. Sophia laughs and gets out of bed to call room service, and I stay in the oversized hotel bed, listening to her in the next room, and I think about how the best love stories aren't the ones that are planned. They're the ones that sneak up on you when you're not looking. Mine did. And I wouldn't change a single weird, chaotic,